happy Thursday, happy quarantine Thursday. Welcome to another episode of 20 Questions With. Today's special guest is going to be David Rodriguez of the Casualties and Starving Wolves. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Erin Micklow, and I host a show on YouTube where I interview bands, cover their live sets, and do festival recaps. So let's bring Dave on. Hopefully he's here already. Oh, here we go. Hi everyone, thank you for being here.
Yo!
Hi.
Oh!
How are you?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Pretty good. I mean, as good as it can be, knowing that we're going to be in our houses forever.
I know. I don't know what it is, but I'm the worst with time. So I'm like running around. I'm like, just made this coffee. I'm crazy. I'm unprepared and overly prepared. I have like 3 different waters and drinks. I'm ready to do this. How are you? You're good?
I'm all right. I got a coffee here. So let's jump into our questions because we have a lot to talk about, and Instagram only gives us an hour.
Oh, let's do it. But wait, let's do this thing real quick. You help announce that.
Yeah, so everyone, I have it pinned in the pinned comment right there. Today we're supporting our dear friends at Rock and Roll Rescue. They are an animal rescue based in Orange County. We're collecting donations for them on their behalf. You can see it in the pinned comment of where to donate and where to follow them. It's at Rock and Roll Rescue, and you can Venmo them to at Rock and Roll Rescue. It is tax deductible. They are a verified nonprofit, and if you guys don't know where the money kind of goes, personally, I didn't know this until the owner and I were having a chat about it. The money goes to your donations when they rescue animals, kind of the funds that are needed for health care for the animals, because obviously a lot of times animals that are rescued are injured, they need surgeries, they need medical care, so that's directly where your money goes if you choose to donate to them.
Yeah. And I think that that's really fucking cool, and they help animals that are old and they're hurt. And look, I want to introduce this little guy. This was an abused dog. His name is Poncho. And he was left outside in like a big snowstorm, and my dog had died, and I just didn't want another dog. You know, I didn't want to go through that pain. And so I said, okay, I'll fucking take care of the dog for one day. Here he is. It's like 6. So anyways, there's Poncho.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Lou from Sick of It All and I were having that chat where he's been fostering dogs as well, and then you get kind of attached to them.
Yeah, how could I let go of this guy? He's like, this guy is it okay if he's in here with me?
Yeah, he's so cute.
He is.
Freckles won't come out. She's been in a mood lately. Like, she is not liking this quarantine.
No. Well, this guy he's like, Dad, sit down. We ain't going nowhere. Relax. But we're glad that your puppy is okay. We know that was lost for multiple hours, right?
Oh my God, like 3 hours the other night, and the whole time she was just in my yard and she was hiding. Like, she always comes when I call her, and it was so, like, all the neighbors heard me yelling, so they all came and rallied to help, and it was like a great community thing. But I mean, like, just the emotional roller coaster. Oh my God, my dog is gone.
I know. My other dog, Chewy, that I had right before Poncho, he took off. We were filming a show for the Travel Channel. Me and Zach Volta from Starving Wolves were doing this cooking show. And of course, it's the day of, and you have a certain amount of time to do the show. And Chewy takes off running. And I was like, fuck, well, cancel the fucking show. It's my dog. But we found him. Anyways, let's do this.
Yeah. Okay. So, you were telling me that you're actually heavily involved with speaking to younger people to find positive ways of dealing with, like, their depression and addiction issues. Can you talk more about that so people can kind of get looped into what you're doing?
Yeah, well, there becomes a certain time, like, I've been really, really, really lucky. So KRUM BUMS, a band that I was in, for people that don't know, I was originally, my first band that I kind of was really touring with was called KRUM BUMS. And that started in 2000. And I can't fucking believe it's 2020. So I've seen people grow up. I've seen kids from the time they were 14 to now they're, you know, fucking 34 years old. So I've been able to witness myself growing up with my audience and, you know, with people that support the bands, but also I see younger people. So let's say I see, you know, somebody over the last 5-10 years growing up, and I can watch some of the problems they get into, and I can also see them pull out of it. So a lot of times younger people will write to me and ask me about, you know, situations that I've been in. And I found as I gotten older, that's what I want to do. I'm very fucking lucky. I'm very fortunate to play music. But part of that, I feel that there's a responsibility. No matter what anybody, I think I accidentally was saying this yesterday. Do whatever you want to do. I by no means do I not want people to party. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. But when you become unhappy, what I want people to know is that there's an option. And I'm here and I'm willing to talk to you because I've been at the bottom. And, you know, for me, being at the top of my game means being in the middle, not too high, not too low. And then I can focus on having a good time and I can appreciate things. Like I can appreciate this conversation. I can appreciate walking my dog. And that's for me, that's a big deal because I didn't feel that way before. So basically what I try to do is be an ear to listen and say, look, you can fucking play music. You can go to punk rock shows. You don't have to follow everybody and you don't have to do what hurts you. So that's really what I do. And I think it helps because I know that it helped me when I was struggling, and some people that I really looked up to in the music industry and bands or whatever were like, dude, I know, I feel it. I feel the same way. So really the main way to help somebody is to not talk at them, but kind of listen. And we always talk about this, you know, it's like that gross saying, like you catch more bees with honey. So if I talk with you with an idea that's attractive, hey, let's go do this. Let's have a good time. Not like, well, you can't be fucking drinking. You can't do coke. That's going to fuck you up. Yeah, nobody wants to hear that. So that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like about positive reinforcement, and it's not about like, nobody wants to be lectured or shamed for their life choices. Like, you know, you can only offer like a different idea of like, what would this look like? This is what I really enjoy doing. And if you want to try it along with me, that's cool. And if you want to do your thing, that's cool too.
Yeah, exactly, dude, for sure.
I mean, it's the same for me. Like when I went vegan 3 years ago, and it's the same like when I go out to eat with friends, it's like, no, do you eat meat if that's your thing? But like, I don't do that.
Yeah. And, you know, it's that thing. There's people that are going to change and people that aren't. And the ones that are susceptible to hearing you, they don't want to be told. They're like, oh, just like with me, it was like, that looks really fucking good. I want to try it. I enjoy it. Then I start realizing there's all these benefits to it. And then you feel better about everything, you know, just by checking it out and being attracted to the idea. Like, how fucking cool is it that you hurt no animals? That's rad.
Yeah, and it's the same too. Like you said, it's like if you're being pushy about it, it actually pushes people in the other direction, you know? Like I went through that with my family. My family comes from, they eat meat like they have to have meat every meal. And I even just tried to introduce the vegan lifestyle and it pushed them even farther in the other direction. So now I'm just like,
yeah,
it's fine.
You're the weirdo is the same thing. I've got country family and they eat barbecue every day and a steak and a potato. And so for me, it was like, so, you know, when they're like, oh, that's weird. Well, like, you can't eat a hamburger. How about a hot dog? And you're like, what the fuck? So it's funny.
Yeah. So you've actually made some big lifestyle changes in the last few years. Can you talk about that? It kind of goes in with what we're talking about with your
Well, you know, I think again, it's like when we relate to one another, just like with the like vegan thing. Okay, I like this. I enjoy this. People relate to you. So one of the things with me was like I was at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, kind of like what you would call you know, you hear the term like, well, when you hit rock bottom, that's when you know. Well, people like me, the scene that I grew up in was really like crazy, and there was no bottom. And I heard somebody say once, like, rock bottom is when you decide to stop digging. And that really hit home for me. So I wanted to, I wanted to see what it was like to not be, not drunk, not buzzed, but obliterated all day long. And that's just, that was my lifestyle, to get completely obliterated. So about 5 years, a little over 5 years ago, I decided to take a month off, and that month has gone into this time. And so it's one of those things. It's like, I always have people tell me like, I didn't know you don't drink. And they'll see me, whoa, they'll see me with like a drink in my hand, but it's like a kombucha or something, you know? So it's one of my things. It's like, I think it's helpful. You can still wreck your car. You can still jump off amps. You can still jump on top of people and scream and do all kinds of shit. I'm just not falling over on, you know, drunk. I'm still falling.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, to be honest, it is a nice thing when you wake up and you're not like, what the fuck did I do last night? Oh my God, I feel like shit. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was like every day. But you know, the thing too, though, is it's like I don't. When people are at my house, I have beer, alcohol. I've got whatever. So I'll make you a drink. The thing is that it's my choice, and the rad thing is when you don't want it, you just don't want it. I don't hurt for it or anything. So for me, that's like this incredible. Feeling, because before it was like when I wake up in the middle of the night, I need a drink, then I'll go back to sleep. When I wake up before I go to work or something, I need a drink. So now to not even think about it is incredible. But I feel like the day that I say I'll never drink again is the day something happens and I start drinking. So if that's my fucking life, it's not somebody else's life. The same reason why I don't preach to people. I want to do this and I feel fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I was listening to a podcast today when I was getting ready, and it was just talking about, like, how as humans, especially in this time that we're in right now, where we're under a lot of stress because the future is all unknown, like, we have coping mechanisms. Some people are emotional eaters. Some people have been turning to alcohol. I mean, I've definitely had my days in this quarantine where I was like, I need to stop drinking so much, but it's hard some days because I'm like, I don't have a reason, you know? And it's like coping, and it's really having to be with your feelings so that you don't need those outside sources for comfort.
Exactly. And you know what? There's something like we've all done it. I always think about this. If you're doing something as weird as you think it is, there's a million people doing the same thing. Where the older we get and the more connected we get, the more we see like people get really turned off when you know you get really like strong and somebody go, you're not special, motherfucker. And it doesn't mean you're not special and unique. Your problems are not fucking special. And the little weird things that you worry about, me and you worry about the same fucking shit, even though we may live super far apart. And everybody watching this, we all worry about a lot of the same fucking things. So fuck it. If you're stuck, I'm saying this, if this was me and I was partying at this time, oh my fucking God, it wouldn't even be cool. It would be like, oh, David's passed out over there again. It would be, I was thinking about that. It would be the worst. I wouldn't even remember. Everyone would be like, remember the quarantine in 20? I'd be like, nope, sure don't.
I think I've seen Party Dave before. I think I have.
Oh yeah. I know. And it's like 5 years wasn't that fucking long ago. So it's like, that's what I think about, that every day I'm close to that. So I just want to stay positive. When I help somebody also, it's this thing. When you stop making every decision for yourself and you start listening, then it reminds me of, oh, fuck. Because don't get me wrong, I have these ideas too where I go, I wonder what that would be like. But then I talk with somebody, they tell me, oh, I fucking crashed my car. I got into a big fight over what? Over nothing. I don't know what it was. And I go, that's what I don't want to do. So that's the little thing that gets me through sometimes each day. But again, I'm not here to ruin anybody's party. If you come over, I'll make you a fucking drink.
Yeah, and it is about that checking in with yourself too, that it's like, you know, why are these, because I went through a phase of that too, that it was like bad things kept happening, fights kept happening when alcohol was involved, and I had to question, and I've taken breaks too, where I'm like, I'm not going to drink for 30, 40 days because I need to really assess, like, where is this coming from? Is it coming from the alcohol? Is it coming from somewhere inside of myself? Is it a little bit of both? And it's really checking in of, it's like, where is this shit coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's hard to face it, you know?
Dude, no, it is hard. But the thing that's cool is, like, I used to always look for the differences in everything. Oh, he's not like me. She's not like me. I'm not like them. And now I try to look at these similarities. It is hard. So, you know, goes right back to not judging someone, not pushing my beliefs. There's certain beliefs we should all believe in, like, you know, fuck racism, and that's something I won't bend on, but I will not tell you how to drink. You know what I mean? There's some shit is just where we.
Uh-oh. Oh,
The
you're freezing a little
similarity
bit.
at home right now, so internet gets kind of weird.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. I had some problems on Cinco de Mayo. And I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, let's jump back in where we left off. We were talking about you joining the Casualties. Can you talk about kind of what that was like for you? I'm sure you get this question a lot, but it is a big thing stepping into a band where they had the same singer for, you know, a couple decades.
Oh yeah. It was so that's like a heavy loaded question, but when it first happened, it was more of I was just gonna fill in at Fuck You We Rule, and turned out it went so well that the guys were like, hey, let's go to fucking Europe. All right, that whole tour went fucking incredible, and I stayed. I've been there. It was like the not drinking thing. All of a sudden, we've been together. It'll be 3 years, June 30th. But the main situation with that was my first issue was I have to give respect to everybody that's followed the Casualties for so long, because I got some like messages from people. They were like, and I respect their honesty. They were like, dude, I love the Casualties. I'll be honest, I don't know how you're gonna fucking sound, but good luck. So it went really well, and there hasn't been a ton of backlash. It's been pretty good. But the thing was, Starving Wolves went out on their first tour with the Casualties, but also KRUM BUMS were out with them for so long, so it was very normal to see KRUM BUMS and the Casualties together. But I'd spent so much time on the road with KRUM BUMS that I have a relationship with so many people all over, and that I think is what really gave me maybe the self-confidence to do that with the audience. And
Yeah.
I think we're doing good. We were having a great time, and what can you say? It was something that I was really nervous about, because what happens, everybody, let's not mention any names, but it's like everybody has seen one of their favorite bands get a new singer, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? But I think half of that is people come into like the band, I'm the bad motherfucker, I'm the new fucking singer. I'm not. I'm really, and this sounds cheesy, but this is how I live, and the way that I feel about the scene. These guys out there for 20 years that have grown up listening to the Casualties, they're the fucking voice. I'm maybe the mouth. and we relate. And so it's a really a give and take thing. And I think if you go into almost anything with self-confidence that you're going to do your best, not that you are the best, and respect what can happen. If it turned out bad, I would have walked away knowing that I tried, I helped some friends out, and that was it.
Yeah, but I was reading some other interviews you did, and you talked about it too, that it was like, you know, you guys were just friends for so long, and initially you were just supposed to kind of fill in for that one show, and it went so well that they were like, do you want the position? Because what would it be? The alternative would be, if you don't replace George, then the band quits. And it's like, is that what people really want to see? Then they never get to see the Casualties again.
Exactly. And they're like, man, there's very few bands, and you know, I'll kind of leave it short with this. I've never, as long as I've played music, I've never seen a band continuously tour and play show after fucking show after show, a basement show, a backyard show into a fucking huge show. They're just constantly going and constantly going. That's their life. And that's what I kind of respected. And I was used to that. So I don't know, just us being friends and both understanding, hey, tonight we drive for 14 hours and tomorrow you have 4 hours on this floor to sleep, and that's it. I like bulldozing and working and working. That's the best thing for me. If I slow down, I just don't work very well like that. So that's a big reason this worked out.
Yeah, and I think it would have been sad had it not, and the band just had to quit, because I think a lot of people that are kind of in our age range grew up on the Casualties. I can say that it's definitely one of the first punk bands I ever started listening to when I was in high school, and it was one of my first punk shows in high school.
Yeah, I mean, it just is one of those things. And, you know, if I would have felt, I think it would have been very mutual. But if, let's say, Jake or Rick or Erin Beggars or anybody felt like, I kind of feel like I have nothing more to offer, maybe we would have just said, hey, let's go out and do the Vegas Casualties thing where we, you know, I just try to sing like George, you know. And anyways, we just felt like there was more. I have a lot of things to say. And our, what do you say, the lyrics are different than they are for Starving Wolves, and KRUM Bums are different. And I really like that. And I have so much ding dong shit going in my head that I'm like, oh, that's where this can go, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely as an artist, you know, you have your ideas, but you do have to tailor them for your different projects of what fits that kind of brand.
Well, there's the scary thing too, where it's like, I think I saw something once where Fat Mike had said he played only bass and me first because who wants to hear him sing in another band? Well, there were slightly those feelings of me like, fuck, Starving Wolves have pretty much the same audience. However, the way I feel confident and positive about it is they really are, we're from the same vein, but we have very different styles. And my vocal style is very different in Starving Wolves.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of that, for anyone who has or has not seen you, you have such an immense stage presence. You have so much power when you're on the stage. What kind of things do you do to kind of prepare to put on a show? I mean, to have that energy show after show, night after night, and be known for that, what are some of the things that you do? Well,
you know, what's funny, like what we were talking about earlier was like, as much as people might think like, oh, he's crazy, he's always like that. Before I go on stage every day, my brain goes, you're a fucking idiot. You suck. You're going to fall over. And that's it. You're going to embarrass yourself. Cool. You've gotten away with it this long. Now you're going to embarrass yourself. This is it. Go for it. I dare you. And then the other little brain goes, fuck you. fuck you. The little kid brain always tells me I can do it. But I would feel that and I'd be like, all right, 5 shots before we go on, 5 shots in the middle, and I would just go crazy. But recently, I looked at some of those videos where I thought I was real crazy. I more rolled around.
Yeah,
I rolled around.
like you're being so awesome, but it's like, wow, that's kind of sloppy.
Yeah, in my brain, I was like, what? And then in reality, I was like, but I think the trick is they're fucking boring tricks, but don't eat 5 hours before you play, but eat.
I hear that from a lot of bands though. Like, why is that?
I will tell you, Erin.
Like when I interviewed Descendants, it was the same. They said the same. No food.
You don't want to be burping burrito in the middle of silly girl, I'm begging you, you know?
That was exactly what Milo said. I'm like, is that really a thing?
Yeah, dude, it's like, imagine you're like bouncing all over the place and, you know, you just had a fucking San Diego burrito and you're burping it up. So it's like, and for all you out there, I know I look extremely tall, but I'm not. That's a joke. But imagine my little body with that burrito in my stomach. It just feel like I've done it before where I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry, I gotta eat real quick. And then I'm jumping around and I feel like a brick. So that's the truth.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so any other? I always wonder, artists that are on stage, what do you do when you have to go to the bathroom?
You think, you know what I mean? You think so many times. I always go like, I wonder how quickly, if this lead, I could go. And I've always thought about like, we should make a sign or something. But I think the thing is, for all bands, we've all thought about it, but it's like, you cannot get off stage. So your audience is gonna get a secret that we don't talk about in the industry. Do not drink bottled water in the backstage if you did not open it and see the snap. So my question for you is, why do you think you should not drink those bottles of water in the backstage?
Oh, because there's pee in them.
Yeah, we pee in every bottle back there. That's what happens. That's how you don't pee on stage. You pee in the bottle right before you go on.
Oh my God, yeah, because it's like a lot of musicians, you know, you guys get thirsty, so whether you're drinking alcohol or water during your set, it's like, you know, you must, especially when you're playing for over an hour sometimes, it's like, how do you?
Yeah, you're peeing in bottles. So.
There was that one story in Laura Jane Grace from Against Me in her autobiography. She talked about she saw a rock doctor, and they injected her with a bunch of stuff, and then she had a show, and she was playing the show, and you know the medication kicked in, and she had to take a shit, and she couldn't hold it, and so she went to the side of the stage, told like a stagehand or something to get her something. They got her a box, and she shat in a box and had to go back to the show.
I love you, Laura. I love Laura. But that's the thing, dude. That's called fucking dedication, no ego. Your ego says, nobody's gonna see me shit up here. Laura drops trout and blows ass.
She had even said too, it wasn't even a normal size box, it was like one of those narrow, like
I imagine it went like any medication shit is not pretty at all. No way.
Yeah, because it was like, she said it was a rock doctor, and it was because like she was so hungover, so that the rock doctor comes and just shoots you up with some.
Well, I don't think, I can remember all of us, and I can remember one time Laura being in Austin and was writing on Facebook like, does anybody have like what are those shots, B12 shots? Does anybody know where I can get a B12 shot? And I was like, yes, I know somewhere, because I know that like you're just so fucking hungover. But again, the show must go on. And it's one of those things too, you see, like I talk with, you know, a lot of, I try to talk with anybody that wants to chit chat after the show. But one of the things is, it's like, how do you do this? How do you go on night after night? There's no question. You just do it. You have to shit, you do it. You're hungover, you do it. You're tired, you fucking do it. And you just keep going. That's it.
Yeah, I think sometimes the motivation comes from knowing that people are counting on you. People bought a ticket. Like even doing my show, I have some days where there's been days where I'm hungover, I'm at a festival and it's like the 4th day and I'm like, I am so fucking tired, but I have to do this because these bands are counting on me. We've scheduled it. They've given me their time, you know, and for you, it must be the same. Like the fans have paid for tickets. They're counting on you to put on a good show. And that's where it comes from, that you just rally.
Yeah. And well, it's one of those things. It's like people are getting an idea and we're about to have a explosion of catastrophe because we don't know when live music is going to happen, but music speaks to you. There's songs that will play. You can remember the smell. You can remember the drink you were drinking, the food you ate, being with your fucking mom when you were a little kid, being with your first, you know, relationship. These different songs have different meanings and they mean so much to us. And it's one of those things. The people that don't stop are the ones that they, you know, you just have this feeling. It's like, think about, this is a crazy example, but like fucking Elton John, who's like that old that you love. I know. Yeah. Like, you know, like shit that I know. I do the same thing when I'm on the spot. I'm like, I started thinking Elton John was the only one, but I don't know. There's a lot of performers like that that are older, but they continue. Here, perfect example, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wish maybe they didn't, but they care, you know, they're doing it. And they have a place in your heart. Whether you like them or you don't, they have a place in your fucking heart.
Yeah, for sure.
MDC, yeah. That's to one of the viewers.
So actually tomorrow you've got, you have like a teaser video or something you posted for Starving Wolves.
Yes, we did.
I mean, like all of your posts about it really didn't say anything. It just had a graphic and a date. And I'm like, what is this? Like,
that's my thing. I'm like, oh no, where's all my little stuff? That's my thing that I'm excited about, is it's like, we've waited for so long to put this kind of together, this whole package that's happening right now. So we kind of felt like, I want to do things in a very secretive. Starving Wolves have always I know that's like the worst business management. Don't tell anyone we're gonna put it out.
It's like we live in the age of social media where so much content is being thrown at people. It's like, I don't have time to guess around what the fuck this is.
I know. I'm like, most people that I work with too, they're like, that's not smart. You need to let people know. And I'm like, trust me, it'll work. People love lima beans. They love lima beans. But I'm just like, we've waited for so long. And when we put this band together, I wasn't quite sure if I really wanted to play music anymore. You know, I just didn't know. And then when I felt it, I can remember there was a practice we had and I got the shivers. And I hadn't had the shivers for my own music in years. Dude, I went to the bathroom because I was like, it felt like what I would imagine somebody like shooting heroin or like some extreme love loss. I didn't know what it was. It was very emotional. And I was like, fuck, this is it. So we really started from the ground connecting with our audience, people that we cared about. We put the first record or our single, Fuck the People, on Boulevard Trash, which is our friends that ran Fuck You We Rule, because those people meant so much to us. We're like, let's do something that involves all of us. So by doing this kind of secret thing, like the other thing is we're a young enough band, and it's not like we're this sought after band where every label is like, get them. But I believe in the band, and I like completely love what we do, and I can see it with people that sing back with us. So I said, dude, let's say things go well. You may not have the opportunity when people become involved to do it this way. We waited on the artwork for over a year because it had to be perfect. We worked with like 4 different artists, and it was nothing against anybody, but the last one that we took, that was the right art.
Who made that art?
His name is Doyle Crawford. He's been one of my best friends for years. He did a lot of work with KRUM BUMS. All of my artists I've worked with for years, but it had to be perfect. So when we were releasing stuff, and I'll tell you, the song is called Cradle, and we recorded it. I don't know if we were in Long Beach, but we played with Dead 77, a bunch of bands, Call the Cops, Luxzilios, a bunch of bands. But we recorded that in like a VFW hall with friends, and that was what our point was. This is who we are, and we're proud of it, and we're excited to release it in that way.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys have, like you said, you guys are kind of a young band. You've been a band for about 5 years, but you're finally about to release your debut.
I know.
I didn't realize that because I've seen so many of Starving Wolf shows by this point. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize you didn't have a full album out yet.
Dude, I know. Well, the thing was, we recorded it, and again, it had to be done with a friend, my friend Jack Conroe. He sings for World Burns to Death, Severed Head of State, and Butcher. But his ear is so something that I care about, and the way that he cares about little tiny ways that words are said. Like the guy that engineered it and recorded us, his name is Jason Bunce, and he's a music like aficionado. He's perfect.
Yeah.
But you put somebody who is OCD with guitar together with somebody that's nitpicky on little stuff, and that's what I wanted. So it just took a long time to get it from them, but we stuck to our guns and did it this way.
Well, yeah, and then I would imagine too, with your other band commitments with the Casualties and touring really aggressively, it's just like those 5 years could kind of go by real quick.
Oh fucking hell! The last 3 years, it feels like, if I think about it too much, because I'm an emotional little titty baby, but if I think about it too much, I can remember, like, it feels like just yesterday was the days where, like, before I joined the band, where I'm going, oh fuck, I have to remember all these lyrics. Like, it's one thing when you're singing it with the record, because if you kind of like are behind a word, you'll hear it like, let's chaos sound, you know what I mean? But when you're just on stage with people looking at you, you're like, ah. But yeah, this 3 years went by so fucking fast.
Yeah. So the album is called True Fire. Is that correct?
That's
right.
And
do you have a date set for when it's going to be released?
All I can tell you is what is on the Instagram.
There's like nothing on that Instagram. There's just a date.
It says that there is something special happening on Friday, which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow, maybe we'll know. Okay, I'll tell you this. Oh, my girl Dana, she's like, I call her my personal kind of manager, but she takes care of some incredibly awesome dates for me. So she'll fucking kill me. But Cradle is the name of the song, and it comes out at 12 o'clock on Apple Music and 12 o'clock tonight on Spotify. So that single is released at midnight.
Woo! I'm excited for that. So you actually also, you've got a show that you've been working on that it was kind of a thing, and then you're starting to give it more attention. It's called Unsinkable.
Yeah.
And it's a series about achieving your goals through hard work. Can you talk more about that now that it's getting more
Yeah.
of your attention?
Well, again, really what I wanted to do was, we always talk about shit like this. These characters that we watch in life, actors, chefs, musicians, people that, just anybody, anything that, this job that you respect, could be anything. You go from point A and then point Z. But what happened in between there? So my goal is to kind of talk about the ups and the downs, but the perseverance to continue. That's what this is about. The show is really about not giving up, continuing to go after your goal, because everybody wants to. And I don't know if this is showing my age or something, but when we live in such a computer age, we just think, because if I have a question, I can look online and find it. So a lot of people are dealing with a lot of depression because they don't, why am I not whatever it is? Why am I not just an astronaut? Everybody wants everything so fucking fast.
Yeah.
But there's a process, and there's a lot of failure that happens. You know, there's tons of people. Well, I was going to be a musician. That was my dream. It was my goal. When we come off tour, I started cooking. Well, some people end up becoming these incredible chefs, but their story was not that they wanted to be that. The story is, I played music. I loved it. It ate me up and spit me out. And I found that I have a talent to cook. So it's really about that. And it's about options. So on this, I have one of my best friends, Yoshi. He's a chef, Japanese chef here in Austin. And we're cooking together, and he's getting blitzed, dude. And we're just like cracking up. And the more we're like hanging out, he's getting drunk, he just is going like, hi, hi, hi. And I don't know what he's saying exactly, but he's just cracking me the fuck up. And then 2 days later, we're in Dallas, and we're with my friend Justin Box, and his story is insane, where he was living in Oakland, maybe in the Tenderloin, and he was just fucking junked out of his mind. And now, dude, he's cleaned up his life. He cooks for traveling bands, you know, tons of them, you name it. He's cooking for them. And his story is about, I didn't want to give up. And that's what I want. I want people to have an option. Like, I think it's so fucking boring. Let's say, for shits and giggles, you're dealing with some maybe addiction problem. You can either watch Intervention or nothing. What about some people that have fucking loved their life and they're fucking kicking ass and they went through it? Let's stop stigmatizing all these different things. This motherfucker went through hell, came back, and he's killing it. Miguel Chen of Teenage Bottle Rocket. There's a story about him. Dude, he has a fucking yoga studio in Dallas, man. And that's shit that people don't talk about, you know? So there's all these different great stories, and that's what we're doing on Unsinkable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's weird because, like, you know, like you said, people only see like A to Z, and they forget all the stuff that was in between. It's like, and
Yeah.
why, you know, why people are known, and people discredit the hard work that went into what made those people known in the end.
Oh, dude, and you know, if you know, you brought up Laura Jane, if you were to talk to her, I mean, people that are just getting involved, they just think it's always been big time. And you know, a lot of us remember seeing Against Me at very, very small places. Remember when it was just a tape, the voice in a bathroom singing, and that was a lot of fucking work. This shit doesn't happen overnight, you know? And I think it's one of the dying what's the term? It's something that's dying in society right now, is that mystery and that struggle of what's going to happen. I want it now, and if I don't get it now, then I'm going to quit and I'm going to cause a big shit, blah, blah, blah. But really, there's something awesome about getting to this step and getting to this step, and in seeing and being grateful, being proud of it. There's nothing wrong with being proud of the work that you do when your heart's in it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we do definitely live in a society of instant gratification, and that's, again, something that, like what we discussed earlier, goes along with really being able to be with yourself and be okay with the feelings that you're having, or find a way to navigate through those feelings, to realize that it's like, you know, if you're patient and you're persistent, it'll come.
Yeah.
I mean,
And, you know, the other thing is, not to cut you off, to interject, the other thing is, it doesn't always happen how you want it.
yeah.
There's a song by a guy named George. Wait, what the fuck's his name? All My Friends. What the fuck is this country dude's name? Garth Brooks. He says, I thank God for unanswered prayers. Think about that, Erin Micklow. Think about that. I want you to think about that.
Yeah, it's being open to opportunities when they come, because like something will take you down a certain path, and you know, then it might not look like what you thought it would look like, but if you can be open to receiving it, then it can lead you somewhere else beautiful.
Yeah, dude, and sometimes it turns out, you know, I try to really live with this kind of PMA like vibe and feeling that the way it is the way it is, dude. It's supposed to be that way. And if you want it different, then keep going. It's there. Everything is there for you. You know, we just have to figure out how to get there. My dream when I was a little kid, I grew up with like Motley Crue and Skid Row. I was gonna be 6'4", 110 pounds, rattlesnake cowboy boots, long hair. Well, this is how it turned out, and I'm pretty happy.
Well, I like your little new side mohawk you're growing. It's so cute.
Oh, this old thing, I call that the worm.
Because it's like, it's because it's so short, it just automatically sticks out by
Yeah,
itself.
it's like that little kid hair.
So we're about halfway through our questions. Can I ask you to play us some songs? Is that possible?
Yeah, what are we gonna play?
I don't know. You're the musician.
Okay, wait a second. I think this is where I'm lost. So wait, what am I supposed to play? We're gonna play songs?
Whatever you want to play. Like you're a musician. Like.
Oh, you want me to get a guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I mean, like, you just want to play some music? Like, I mean, you are a musician. Like, it would be ridiculous if you asked me to play some stuff.
You want me to play these lemons? My alpha brain? You know what?
What the fuck did you think I meant?
I was like, I thought that was like a segue into something. I can't play fucking guitar.
I don't know. I would imagine that sometimes when I know some singers play guitar and then some don't. And I wasn't sure if you played any instruments, but
okay, there's like a song by KRUM BUMS called SOS, and it was like our main song. All I can do is the one chord, like that's it. I'm like, I can play power chords and I can maybe come up with a little something, but no, I think I should have had like Days and Days or Pairs or somebody be like on another phone and they could have played and I would sing over it. Maybe we'll do that. That's what we'll do. Instead of me playing songs, we'll think about playing songs.
Okay, we'll think about it. I was just with this show, obviously it's not possible with every musician, especially a lot of people that are just singers. Like, it was the same with Lou from Sick of It All. Obviously, he's a singer. You know, he doesn't play, and it's we're in this time, and it's just like, fuck, man, it does suck not being able to go to concerts anymore. It sucks.
No, it's fucking horrible, and it's one of those things. It's like what I was saying a little bit earlier, like the devastation at the loss of music is gonna be so much harder than we think. And so that's why I think it's so important that we stay positive, that we put our energy into helping each other, because this world, especially with what's going on right now, is like we're so fucking divided about everything. We want to divide each other for every single thing. I don't like this style. I don't like that style. Political parties, this fucking shit that's going on in Georgia. So it's so important that, you know, we kind of have conversations with each other that lift us up. And, you know, just again, in our worlds, we're always around musicians. And I mean, we have zero clue when we're going to get back on tour. It may be, like they're saying, the winter of 2001. What the fuck?
I know. I don't, you know, the podcast I was listening today when I was getting ready said that like anxiety comes from like fear of the future. So I try to really be in the present, because I don't want to think about that either. That it's like, you know, even in LA, I just posted an article from the LA Times that was released this week, and they talk about that because LA has so many fucking cases of COVID and so many deaths. They're talking about extending the stay at home for like another 3 months.
Oh, dude, it just continues and it continues, and we don't really know. And I had a talk with a friend, and he's super cool dude, very liberal, and a nurse, and he was like, I can totally sympathize with people that are losing their fucking shit. People want to get back to work. I have zero, I mean, in a way, you know, this is my, I hate using this word, but this is my work. This is what I do.
Yeah.
So, and you know, a lot of times people think like musicians, like, oh, they must have money in the bank. A lot of us, yeah, I know, show me.
It's like a lot of musicians barely are breaking even when they tour. So money in the bank, excuse me?
Exactly. And it's like, we do this because we fucking love it, and we care about it. We care about the emotion that we see in the crowd giving back to us. And, you know, it was like I said, my friend was just saying, I can understand, you know, people are losing their businesses. They're not going to come back. And it's hard. It's a really fucking difficult situation right now.
Yeah, it's been awful for everyone, and even the friends I've spoken to that are working still, we don't have that balance anymore of, it's like, you know, you work and then you do something that's like fulfilling and satisfying and fun, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally hear you.
It's pretty much like all work and then sitting around your house.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, Poncho's like the only one that loves this.
Freckles, like, I really think that's why she did that the other night, because to be honest, I'll cop to it, I haven't been walking her enough because I have a yard, and yeah. I'm afraid, because I went out yesterday for a walk, because when my neighbor helped me find her, I was like, she's like, you gotta walk her more because she needs to get out. But the reason I don't like going on walks, I went out yesterday and I was reminded that there's this fucking dumbass with no mask on. And in Hollywood, there's signs on all of the crosswalks, like a sign that's literally like this fucking big that says, do not push the button, wait for it to change on its own. So the guy is wearing no mask, and he pushed the button, and I turned around, and I looked at him, and I just pointed at the sign, and he goes, oh, I know.
I know. We could fucking go on for hours. And it's yesterday, I'm over here like, you ever find yourself, you're stressing because you're trying to not stress? I'm constantly going, just chill out. Don't worry. Like, I was wearing a mask. There's like an area like a little bit north of Austin, slightly country. And I went into the grocery store and I had the mask on, and everybody was looking at me like, what an idiot. He's so stupid. And I'm like, dude, here's what I know. I don't know. So I'm going to wear the fucking mask. And when I go home, I'll take it off.
Well, and so the reason why the masks are important, because at first I didn't understand it either, and I saw some friends posting about it. The reason it is important is because the virus is transmitted through any kind of like liquid particles. And so it's like, yeah, sometimes like when you're speaking or whatever, you know, a little spit comes out that you won't even see. And by having the mask on, it's like, it just prevents that from happening. It prevents you from getting it. It prevents you from spitting on other people. And that's really, I mean, it's a gross thing.
True. I'm the worst too. It's like, I don't know what, I think actually also I was pickle drunk for so long that I just talk like that. I'm like, when I talk, I was like looking at somebody one time and, you know, the light was just coming through and I was talking, but my brain was going, look at all that spit coming out. I'm like the worst, dude. The worst. I think KRUM BUMS, we were like that future. We were like Star Trek. We knew this was KRUM BUMS style. See?
Yeah. Well, so speaking of KRUM BUMS, can you talk about why you guys broke up?
Well, it's funny because it was a real sensitive subject for a long time, but the reality was, we grew up in this van. As soon as we were able to have enough songs to get on the road, we got on the road, and we were just kind of. I think the reality was we really started the band for free beer. I'm not even kidding. We loved to go to shows, and we were just like punk kids. We loved to go to shows, and we're like, it'd be nice if we had free beer. So we had like the worst. We were like the hated band in Austin because we would get up there. I would roll around on stage, and we would get our beer. And then we would make a big mess. So for about 2 years, that was it. We were just this mess. And eventually we started to kind of learn our instruments, and I took it a little bit more serious. And before we knew it, we were in this van. And after that, we were traveling all around the world and doing these shows, and we never stopped. And so some people got married. Some people had kids, some people left, and a couple of us didn't deal with any of our problems. And we're in that van. When you're in a van hungover and tired for 2 months, you start fighting a lot.
Yeah, you get really fucking grouchy and irritable with each other.
Yeah, by the end, the guys, we always crack up. We called it my coffin. I made a little bed. You know where you close the doors in the back of the van, and then there's the back bench? So you have about this much room. I could turn my body sideways and slide, and then it would open up on the floor. And I slept there. 1 was yes, 2 was no. And that's all. I would raise my hand up and put 1 or 2. And that's really, you know, it was just, we were doing good. And I think we felt we were not. You know how I said if the Casualties felt like they weren't offering anything? We cared so much about what we were doing, and all of a sudden, I don't think we did. I think we found ourselves in Groundhog Day, and we just went separate ways. And it took a couple of years because it's like a divorce. You know, you married your high school sweetheart, and you're like, fuck, I married my fucking high school sweetheart. I didn't get to grow. So that's what happened. And just today, me and Trey were texting. Trey's guitar player of KRUM BUMS, and we're just cracking up. He has a newborn baby and a mustache, and not the baby. Trey has a mustache, and we're just kind of laughing and enjoying being friends again.
Do you guys think that you might ever do any reunion shows, or is it like an Op Ivy thing where it's like no way in hell, never happening?
Wow. Well,
that's what Jesse Michaels always says. He's just always like, I mean, that's from his mouth.
What if I was like this big head? I'm like, we'll get together if they will. Let's see if it happens. No, we play every now and again, but our drummer Tommy, he lives in Milan. So talk about being fucking locked up, dude. They're on real quarantine. The U.S. has quarantine.
Is Italy still bad? I haven't heard news from Italy.
Yeah. It's rough. They're just being able to kind of go out, or from what I hear. So there'll probably be a million people. You don't know shit, but from what I hear. But again, when he brings his kids to see his parents, his parents live in Houston. So he'll come once a year to visit. When he comes in, if we can get everyone together, we'll play. And if not, then we just kind of wait.
For sure. All right. So I don't know if we're gonna get all our questions done today, but we'll get through as many as we can.
Okay, let's bust through the next two.
I've always wondered, how did you get your nickname, David Tejas?
David Tejas.
Is it Tejas?
Yeah, Tejas.
I don't know how to say it. I don't speak Spanish.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't speak Spanish. I'm not very good. So I used to live in Baltimore just for a very, very short time. And they would always joke with me in the kitchen that I was the only person, Mexican from Texas. Everybody else was from Ecuador or something. So everybody would call me Tejas. And then the funny thing about that is people would, when I came back to Austin, I was telling our bass player, Javier, I was like, call me David Tejas. And he's like, shut up, David. But I kept writing it everywhere, so finally it stuck. But the guys in KRUM BUMS were like, we're not calling you David Tejas. But that's the story.
So then how did you get back to Texas, from Baltimore?
Oh, so I moved up there. My brother moved up there, and it was I just grew up with a lot of crazy people, and life was just gone wild. And I moved up there at spur of the moment. Then I got beat up by the cops. I got hit by a car, and everybody was like, dude, come home. So I just can't. I had one of those big, this is the funniest thing. I had a military bag, you know, those big, huge, you see in the movies, a big military bag. I put a stereo in the bag. So it was clothes, shoes, 2 speakers, and I had zip ties all around it, keeping it shut. It was before 9/11, so it was there was really no restrictions. You could do whatever back then. So it was a really sad for maybe my ego coming home, but it was what sparked KRUM BUMS, so it was great.
That's awesome. Well, so you've been in the punk scene for a really, really long time with all your bands. Can you share some of your most memorable stories, things that just are at the top of your mind when you think about your career as a musician?
Well, I've been so fucking lucky, you know. We went out with, of course, Darby Crash is dead, but we went out with the Germs. Shane West was singing, but it was one of those things. I had so much time with Don and Lorna and Pat, and they told me all these incredible stories about the Germs, and they'd never gone on tour before. The Germs are such a legendary band, but they were a very small band. You know, after Darby died, they exploded. But having these conversations, and then him telling me about being in Nirvana, there was something, you know, Pat Smear being in Nirvana and stuff. There was something so out of body for me, because, you know, I grew up listening to the Germs, listening to Nirvana, and now I'm on tour with these guys and telling me these great stories. And Lorna died last year, but before they played every show, she would take my bandana and put it in her back pocket, and it was like,
Lord, aww.
So, you know, there's incredible things like that. There's incredible bittersweet moments, when KRUM BUMS, when we kind of realized things were falling apart. We played this incredible show in Spain, and people were throwing firecrackers in the crowd, and it was everything you wished you would see, but we were also watching it fall apart. And I can remember we were just kind of all holding each other and being we all knew it was coming to an end. So it was rad, up and downs. And last year in Poland, Casualties played this show. It was this festival, and everybody kept telling me you're not gonna believe this show. It's gonna be fucking huge. And I was thinking, oh, like a big club or something. And it was a festival. The festival they counted up to 100,000 people.
Holy shit.
At the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying that many people were watching us, but you can see there's a video for the song Borders of Casualties in Poland. It was so big that you couldn't comprehend how many people. And I always jump into the crowd. I had to jump to the edge, call security, crowd surf on the security, get out to the crowd. Rick had to sing a song for me to come back up. It was that far, but I was like, we're going to play the same way that we play at every club. So that was really cool.
Yeah, you have like your moment where you always crowd surf. So,
yeah.
So yeah, you need to come back now.
That's it. I know.
Like,
but
excuse me,
there's always
we've lost our singer. Please come back.
Yeah. There's always like rad, great, funny shit happens all the time on tour. So
yeah, I mean, like I did one tour, and you just, because you go to so many places and see so many people in such a condensed amount of time, and it's just like the ups and downs of it, that like stuff happens, things break, things get stolen, like things don't go as they're planned, but you keep going.
Oh, you cannot stop. Is KRUM BUMS were on tour with the Casualties. We're in Montreal. There's this great bar called the Catacombs. So we're just partying, going wild there. Get back to the van. There's like the little bunk that you can sleep on. And I went and jumped on it. And my face just hit all of this. I thought it was like pebbles. Like somebody had messed with my little area to sleep. And I got it in my mouth and I spit it out. And I was like, oh, that's glass. And somebody had busted the window out, stolen all of our like personal belongings, but we were like kind of so drunk we didn't realize it. So our buddy cut out, like welded a metal like sheet metal for a window. And again, we had guitars, everything personal stolen, but there's no time. You have to keep going, and that's it. And funny thing with that metal, when we were driving home, we're coming through Arizona in the summer, and that window is just radiating heat. It's hot as fuck. And me and Javier, we went to high school together, so when we fought, it was like, ah. We were fighting in the back of the van, and he got my face and pushed it on the hot metal window. I was like, ah! So that was
like you could actually burn your face.
Oh yeah, it did burn my fucking face. Javier was like the asshole. I was taking a nap on the top of the trailer, and he pulled my legs, and my head hit, the metal thing that goes over the wheel. I slid off the top up from a sleep. I was sleeping up there. He pulled my legs, and my head just hit it. And when I got up, I was such in awe. I said, why would you do that? And he's like, I don't know. Your legs were there, and the way that the U-Haul is like sloped, I just pulled them. I said, I hit my head. I don't know. It's just dumb shit like that happens.
I feel like a lot of dumb shit like that happens, like in touring bands. You just hear these things because it's kind of like tour starts, and like some bands, it's like a bunch of little boys, and it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. And the pranks, and the way we would get paper bags and buy dog food at the convenience store, and we would we'd put it in the bottom of the bag and then twist it so it looked like a little bomb, and we'd wait and let it get real soft and soggy. And late at night, because the bands, we caravan, so we'd stop, let them get a little bit ahead of us, and then we would just tear racing after them. And as soon as we'd get close and we're about to pass them, we'd throw the bomb out, and it would just explode all over but it was pretty fucking dangerous at 80, 90 miles an hour with a trailer, 4 o'clock in the morning. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Really stupid, funny stuff. Good stories, but really fucking stupid and dangerous. So I have to clip some of our questions because I think we've got about 4 minutes. But I wanted to ask, what are some of the things that you've learned in this quarantine the past 2 months?
I'll answer these quick. I came into this with like this real heavy idea, like I'm gonna fucking write a novel, I'm gonna start a movie, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna write 2 records. And I kind of started working, and about 3 weeks into it, I just got hit with this like dark feeling of like I don't know what to do. So and I think, to be honest, I had this kind of asshole mentality of like, everybody should be doing something. Do your yard, you know, plant roses, something, learn to cook. And now I'm like, just maybe try to brush your teeth today. That's it.
I mean, yeah, I have the days, I think we all in this quarantine, you have the days where you get things done, but it's still not like normal productivity because there is that lingering depression, loneliness, uncertainty, and it's just like, yeah, some days it's like, well, fuck, man, you did something really simple that day, and it's for that day, it's enough.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it's like we put Unsinkable on just a little hold. Real briefly, my mom had gotten extremely, extremely ill, and I literally thought she was going to die. And so we were like, part of me was like, she'd want me to keep doing this. And I just went, you know what? Let's put this on hold. We want to be authentic with what we're doing. And the path from A to Z for us in this story is we need to take a little break so that we can come through and give 100%. So I learned to just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, the podcast that I was listening to today, the one I keep referring to, was all about that stuff. And it talks about how if you're feeling burned out, if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's where you need to take the liberty to say, I need to take a break and recharge so that I can come back and really show up for people the way that I need to.
Exactly.
Which is, it's not always easy to do that because you feel the pressures that people are relying on you and they're counting on you, and your own self pressures of, well, I should be doing this. But sometimes you just need to be like, you know what, I need a little bit of time to recharge and handle this, and then I'm back and I'm fully here.
Exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm feeling good right now.
For sure. Well, I think we have a little more time. I lost the track of time because our first one cut. So I'll ask you another one of the questions I have. Complete the sentence. Blank is David's weakness.
Ooh.
It's always a good one to ask people.
Blank. And you know what? And I had that. I was like, what is my weak? Well, cooking is my good weakness, but it's what I love to do. So when people are all hanging out at a party and having fun, I have to get in there and cook. So that's one of my weaknesses. My other weakness is this quarantine is my weakness. I have 0 musical talent. I'm okay as a storyteller and slightly okay writer, but I feel really sorry for you guys if you hear me for the first couple of shows. I have to get my range back. I have zero range. So range is my weakness. I did see something real quick. I want to say something. Somebody said, shout out to Nick Curran. So Nick Curran is a great friend of mine that passed away a few years ago from tongue cancer. And he was a Little Richard freak. Like, he could sing. He was this punk and he could sing like Little Richard. So I thought it was really cool that one of your viewers said that. And Little Richard just passed away. So wherever they are in this crazy universe, they're playing together right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, but don't you just like walk around your house and maybe practice your vocals or just yell? Like, don't you just like yell things around like because you're bored?
You don't know? You know what I do? I'm like, Chauncey, Poncho, come here, Poncho. That's like my whole day as I talk to him. I was explaining to him what the term dog means. I was like, here he's coming. I said, Poncho, you my dog. And I was like, do you even know what that means? So that's...
He is so cute. I love him.
He is. If I was a dog, I would look like this, like a little sausage, a little thick sausage.
Well, because you know how people say you kind of look like your dogs, like, you know, I mean, somebody said I look like my dog because of her eyebrows.
Yeah, I do look like this guy. Look, he's like, just.
This poor dog.
Buncho, he's so used to it. I got a bike seat for him. So he rides in the front of my bike and we just cruise, dude.
Do you strap him in? I would be scared he might jump out.
Yes, but you know what? So we did fall. The other day, somebody said, why does it take you so long to turn around? Because he's sitting right in the front, like he's like this.
Yeah.
So the handlebars, steering wheel, the handlebars don't really turn, so you kind of have to curve around. So I have to wait till the end of the street to turn around. And I was like, my feet don't really touch because I have to move the seat way up to lock it in. And so my little short ass, I can barely touch the ground. And I said, look, I can't touch the, oh! And I fell over and he's locked in, but he's like, I don't want to use the term punk dog, but he's just like this. He fell over and was like, what's going on? What is this? Why am I like this? He didn't trip out or anything.
Yeah, he seems really mellow. Well, I want to close with that and tell everyone out there to please go follow David. I never know, Dave or David. When I met you, it was Dave.
People, I'll give you the quick on that. If I were to, I feel like I would be like this, like beach asshole, like, hey, Erin, the name's Dave. So people call me Dave, but I introduce myself as David.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be like real weird if I'm like, yeah, the name's Dave. Try it out.
Yeah, and I don't know if that happened as like a drunk thing, because when I met you, that's when both of us were drinking pretty fucking heavily.
Yeah. Well, I think I probably, yeah. My name's Dave. I probably said that. Yeah. But Trey and everybody calls me Dave, so.
Yeah, it's like David, because yeah.
That's my professional name, David.
Okay, everybody go follow David Tejas. Did I say it
Boom.
right?
Perfecto.
And like we said in the beginning of the show, today we are collecting donations for Rock and Roll Rescue. It's our friends Animal Rescue. You can see it in the pinned comments here of where to donate. Follow them, donate to their Venmo. They are based out here in Southern California, and it's an animal rescue that deals mainly with older dogs to give them good last years, good quality of life. And they're doing lots and lots of good things, saving more than dogs. They save all kinds of animals like rabbits and birds and all kinds of stuff. So by you supporting them, it supports to help animals that are injured and need medical attention and good lives.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you. We had a great time. And tonight at midnight, Spotify, Apple Music, Cradle by Starving Wolves.
Yes. Thank you, David.
Bye.
Appreciate you.